Look at your life, look at your choices. Choosing to watch this video is the best choice that you've ever made. In case you're new here, kindly consider subscribing to this channel. And for the returning subscribers, thank you so much for always coming back and appreciating my content. We are moving on to a different book, and we will be doing The Samaritan by Lara. This is the book. So from this book, we will go step by step, and the first thing that we will do is to first talk about the synopsis of the book and also the blurb. So the first thing, we have The Samaritan. It is written, we have the article there, and we have The Samaritan written on the other side. And then we have, you can see some clouds, you can see sun trying to rise, you can see there's some bare land here, and you can see there's water. If you can see the synopsis well, yes. So first of all, from this synopsis, one thing that you will realize, there is water. Generally, when you look at water, what comes to your mind? Life. Water signifies life. Water signifies so many good things, and you can relate to that one. And then there's also some desolate land here, some there's land here. And then there's the sun trying to rise, but the clouds are choking the sun. The clouds cannot allow the sun to come out. So we have enemies of progress, some people that come to hinder the progress of the society. But then there's someone or something that can be done. Even though you choke it, the light will come to show. Sun represent lights. Even if you put light in darkness, darkness will immediately disappear. So the same thing we can realize from this book. We have the sun trying to rise, and it's being choked by the clouds. We have life, that is water, this desolate land. In this book, you'll realize that a lot of things are dead at the beginning. There is corruption, there is bad leadership, and all that's happening in this book. But as you can see, there is hope. From the light that comes out of the sunlight, you can tell that there is hope. Even though there are enemies of progress that are trying to choke, or rather to hinder the progress, but then at the end, the sun will shine and victory will come at the end. Yes, that is what we have here. And on the other side, the blurb, we have the story has been written here, and I will read so that you can follow through with me to understand what's inside the book. So first, let's read. The Samaritan tells the story of two students in Maracas municipality who developed a mobile app called The Samaritan, an online platform for whistleblowing as well as sharing ideas and information with a view to improving the governance and enhancing public welfare. Soon, the app is flooded with damning information about the unparalleled corruption, malfeasance, and political capture perpetrated by Maracas municipal leaders. What follows is like the theater of the absurd. Under fear of public exposure of the app and threat of imprisonment, the leaders make frantic efforts to shield themselves from the long arm of the law. Luck is not on their side, and eventually the national government steps in and the law finally catches up with them. A new dawn for Maracas municipality begins with the arrest of the enemies of progress. The Samaritan traces the problems that ravage human societies back to the human heart. Ultimately, the decision to make moral rather than evil choices is always within the radius of all individuals in the society. The playwright exposes the often hypocritical underbelly of political leadership and desires to inspire individual examination of conscience for each one of us to shun evil for the good of the society. Because, as the philosophers say, the problem of human society are the problems of the human heart. And first, let me introduce you to the characters that we're going to interact with as we continue with the analysis of this book. We have Alvita, who is a student at Sagrada Secondary School. Basdeo, the political opposition leader, Maracas municipality. Then we have Bembe, Inspector General of Police, Maracas municipality. Camona, Deputy School Principal, Sagrada Secondary School. Harvester, Chief Executive Officer, Maracas municipality. Jaden, who is the Principal Judge, Maracas municipality. Then we have Montano, who is a student at the same school. We have Mosi, who is the mayor of that municipality. We have Narine, who is the principal. We have Nicole, who is ethics and innovation teacher at the same school. We have Piro, who is the chairman of the local school board. We have Ramdai, the deputy mayor, Maracas municipality. We have Shalini, the school principal secretary. We have Seima, the secretary, Department of Planning and Development in the same municipality. We have Tajo, who is head of Anti-Corruption Investigation Bureau. We have Ted, who is the secretary of the department of the Maracas municipality. And then we have the students, and the students are mentioned from the 1st to the 5th. We have the bodyguard, the journalists, and the waiter. So yes, the first thing that we get after reading from the book, we can see that there is a celebration that is set to happen during the closing day. This the Samaritan. This is an app. From this, you can understand what I'm talking about. This is an app that was formed to help in fighting corruption and a lot of things that were happening in this society. And this app was formed by the two students. We have Alvita and Montano. These students came up with this app, and luckily it became one of the winning innovations. The teacher that was under control of these students was Teacher Nicole, and Teacher Nicole involved in this ensured that these people were doing their best. And to make it look beautiful, the students Alvita and Montano won, and this app was supposed to be officially launched and to be put to use. But what happens? Let's see what happens when we read through. The mayor refuses to launch this app by only saying that this app has been formed to put them down. Yes, from this app you can see Alvita and Montano explain something about the app and talks about the benefits of the app even to the people during that closing ceremony. Then this is what Montano says. I traveled into the future about 50 years from now, and guess what? I saw you working at a corner in a city as a cobbler. You looked severely battered and your nose was permanently running. If I remember well, me, a cobbler. Was it a nightmare that you had or a hallucination? No, it is called traveling into the future. You close your eyes and try to figure out how your future will look like, given past and current trends. When they look at whatever was happening, what the leaders were committing in the society, how they were choking the dreams of other people, how they were so corrupt, and the bad leadership that was involved, then you can only say that in future, what is going to happen is even worse. You're going to be a cobbler, considering the given past and the current trends. Yes, and then you can also travel into the past. One time I traveled into the past until I was back in my mother's womb. I sat there, mesmerized, demonstrating, folding his arms and arms in a fetal position. It was very dark in there. So again, when you look up at the past, everything was just dark. Technology had not come into place and everything was not looking good. So an example, it talks about going back to the mother's womb, and then talks about what happens. You were actually fortunate to have a source of income as a cobbler. Millions of young people were loitering aimlessly. That is what the future holds. Aimlessly in the streets and villages without gainful employment. All of them were poor, hungry and angry. You are really serious, Montano? You mean with all my education I couldn't get a job? These people are traveling into the future and look what they can realize from the condition, the current trends. Yes. You see, Alvita, our country has been and is producing more graduates each year than the number of jobs it is able to create. The current state of nations or countries, probably African countries. At this rate, what do you think will be the situation over a period of 50 years? I was in a no better position, Alvita. I was earning my livelihood as a panelist. You can imagine just a steel drama with a not so popular steel band at the time, but jobless was not even my main concern. What was your main concern? The way your nose was running, as though you had a drum of fluid in the middle of your head. I frankly didn't even think you would see another day. So you can imagine how people are really struggling in this book, that you can barely meet people, youths walking aimlessly, loitering everywhere without a job. And then you could realize the condition of people running noses around the street. I don't want to imagine what kind of a society is that. Yes, I think it was because of the awful smell in the city. That time, all cities had a bad stench because cleaning water was very scarce. The stench, the living condition of people is so bad. Climate change had occasioned unpredictable weather patterns, and it was hardly raining anymore. It was raining once in a year, at most for only 10 minutes. Alvita, the new climate could hardly support plant or animal life. You mean animals and plants had died? More of them. In fact, people had no choice but to adapt to eating strange things like insects, crawling creatures, rodents, sea creatures that could survive the harsh climate, but all these were in very short supply. 2. So most people had adapted to eating plastic, synthetic fibers, other bizarre things I couldn't make out. I saw you chewing a gunny bag at one point. It appears you can eat anything, Alvita. That is famine, lack of food. People are really suffering. So the reason for these students coming up with this app was to save the situation, to help that in the future things will not be the same, things will have to change. But at that rate, with the continuation of the same, then it means that 50 years from the time they were forming this app, everything could have taken a different route. People would be loitering the streets, no food, there's famine, there's no water, there's no rains and all that because of the bad governance. So you can see the sense of coming up with this app. It's an app that has been made to save the situation here. It was an app that could help save people, and that's what the mayor cannot take. So they talk about the protection from brutal government, because this app was meant to expose these behaviors, and after exposing they could mend it. Like you could post in case you know someone who is doing something bad, and anywhere you can post it to the app anonymously. No one will know you, no one will know your identity, and after posting to this app, then it is evident they will come and sit and change the situation. But look what happens next. What Mayor Mosi comes back and says, ahem, how amazing. Please think mostly in this direction. Then he pauses. Then look what follows. However, we will neither launch the innovation nor present the prize today. Not because the app is terrible. No, it is in fact an outstanding innovation, so good that it could have far-reaching implications on other areas of our social, economic, and political life. As municipal leaders, we need time to reflect on these implications. That is cover-up. They've already realized that when this app is launched, then it's going to bring them down, because Mayor Mosi was the one who is involved in these activities together with the team, and they knew that if they would allow these students to come up with this app and the app booms up, then it means that their progress will be choked instead of the society. So he refuses to launch this and says that no, it is in fact an outstanding innovation, so good that it could have far-reaching implications on other areas of our social, economic, and political life. As municipal leaders, we need time to reflect on these implications. I now request teachers and students to leave as we discuss with the principal and teacher Nicole. You could realize that from the introduction of the characters, I talked about teacher Nicole as ethics and innovation teacher at Sagranda Secondary School. And then he's the teacher that had been coaching these students. These students came up with the app. Then after Mayor Mosi refusing to launch the app, Mayor Mosi decides to push these people away by telling them they can leave, but who? Look who Mayor Mosi is remaining behind with. Principal and teacher Nicole. This is the excuse. They want to talk about how they will move forward with the incredible innovation, which is a lie. It's not going to happen at this point. Yes. Then Moses starts by saying, I'm afraid we may not continue with this thing. Remember, in front of people, we've been talking about how great this app is. But then when they remained with the team, Nicole and the principal together with the team, then calls this app the thing. We may not continue with this thing. Yes. And then again, after saying that, we can see, again, this is what he says. Oh, I have already forgotten what you are calling it. That is sarcastic. Looking rather disappointed. But why? Your worship. This is a blessing for our country. That is one of the members on his side. Piro. I talked about Piro. Then Mosi. Don't you see it? It might turn out to be a platform of misinformation, lies, and witch hunt. You see, last year someone spread a rumor that I had died. He just sent a text message on social media, and it spread like a wild bush fire. And you know, I almost actually died. During that time, I accidentally swallowed a whole toothpick. You can imagine how sarcastic this man is. So in short, they have refused to launch this app, remained behind and talked to teacher Nicole and the principal about how this thing, the app, can be done away with. This is what teacher Nicole responds and says, I'm afraid, your worship, the assessment of the innovation was done by senior officers at the Ministry of Education. Experienced software engineers were also involved. It passed all the tests and no errors were found. Then this is what Mayor Moses says. My good teacher, I'm the mayor of this municipality, voted in by hundreds of thousands of people, directly and indirectly. My decisions supersede those of any education official anywhere in this country. Do as I say. Write a letter expressing reservations about this thing, technical or otherwise, and then leave the rest to me. This man clearly has refused to continue with the launching of this app. He's now demanding that a letter to be written about the bringing down of this app. Remember, this app is already with the Ministry of Education. That is the excuse that teacher Nicole gave here. How rude was that? Look at what teacher Nicole says here. Your worship, the app has been online for a month now. It's already been taken over by the National Information and Communication Technology Corporation. There's little we can do now. Just keep your mouth shut if you have nothing useful to say. Then this interesting part that we now have an argument between Mayor Mosi. We have an argument between Basdeo, who is the opposition leader. Basdeo, and then this is what they say. Basdeo says, is it a new dawn that I now smell? When you talk about a new dawn, that is hope. What we learned from the cover, there's the rising of the sun. It's a new dawn. It signifies the beginning of something new. New hope. Hope. There's the restoration. There's something good coming in. Yes. And then this is what Basdeo says. Is it a new dawn that I smell? Moses says, it is the smell most likely of berries or corns on cobs. They are delicacies for porcupines. No doubt it will be a delicious new dawn in our islands. So the opposition leader is in support of the same app because it will help in even fighting this party that are in control. And then Moses says that, have you seen any dawn since you began smelling them? That is sarcasm. He's so sarcastic there. And then Basdeo, the opposition leader, says, I've never been more hopeful. Then that is how they all walk out of the hall as the curtain falls. I hope you enjoyed the read up to there. It's a very interesting one. And in the next video, we're continuing from Act 1, Scene 2. Yes. Then I'll give a general overview of the same. So Just stay here so that you can get more about this book and learn more about the society and the nations that you are living in right now. Thank you so much and have a blessed time. Kindly consider subscribing. Subscribe. I've realized that most people watch my videos but they have not subscribed. Kindly subscribe. Let's close this year in a mighty and great way. Thank you so much and bye.